Is this screen visible to all of you?
Visible then.
Yes, sir.
I hope all of you have installed Linux on your machines.
Yeah, Tanveer, installed.
Fine.
Yeah, I have installed.
Now moving to the topic. First, parallelly, I'm going to start this Linux machine. Then so today we will go for the introduction class, like what exactly is the Linux and its history, and then we'll move to the other topics. So we will start with the first, that is Linux ideas and history. So what exactly is the Linux? Linux is a server operating system. So there are three type of operating system: server, client, and standalone. The OS which is used for personal and gaming, that is standalone, like our Mac, then Windows 10 or 11 Home Edition. And which one is the client, like Windows 10 Professional or any other client operating system we have, like that. Server operating system, mostly we use three operating systems in server, like Windows Server, Linux, and Unix. Three OS is used to create server. So that's why we say as a server OS. So this one is a server OS, Linux. Now let us go to the history, how this Linux was developed. So there is a one student, still he is alive. Now he is not a student. Earlier he was a student. His name is Linus Benedict Torvalds. Okay. So Linus Benedict Torvalds, he is from Finland. Okay, Finland, Europe, and during the time he was a student. And where he was the student? He was a student in University of Helsinki, Finland. Okay. So this is the university where he was the student on that time. When he was a student in University of Helsinki, during that time he was using one operating system called Minix. So what exactly is the Minix? Minix is a Unix-like operating system. So on that time, Linux was not there. So he was working to an operating system similar to the Unix, but just like a microkernel. You can say the miniature version of Unix. That's why its name is Minix. So he was using Minix in their universities for the practice and other things. So suddenly he thought that we need to develop a free operating system where we can add our own tools. So what he has done, Linus Torvalds email. So if you see here, first byte, this page, on that time, he wrote one email. What was the email? Hello everybody out there using Minix, whoever is using Minix. I am doing a free operating system just as a hobby. Won't be big and professional like GNU. Okay. And this has been brewing since April. So from April, he was thinking about that and is starting to get ready. I would like any feedback on things people like and dislike in Minix. So he just wanted to have the feedback that what are the things you like in Minix and what you don't like. So accordingly, he is going to reassemble the things. So as my OS reassemble, it's somewhat. Okay. I have currently ported this bash, the shell of the operating system, and things seem to work. So this implies I will get something practical within few months. So I'd like to know what feature people would want. Any suggestions are welcome, but I won't promise that I will implement it. So means on that time, who was using just like a you can say as a social media platform or the Google, sorry, the chat, email group chat type of thing they had on that time, and they used the email and they forwarded it. So he got the reply, and this is how the Linux development started. Okay. So it makes clear that Linux was developed based on the Unix kernel. Now the next thing is, what exactly is a kernel and shell? Okay. Kernel and shell. So every operating system is having two parts. One is called kernel, another is called shell. Okay. So first is our hardware. On top of hardware, we install the operating system. Okay. And the operating system consists of two parts. One is kernel, another is shell. Okay. So kernel is the core, or you can say a skeleton of the operating system, and shell what we interact with. So whatever command is given by the user is executed by shell, and the command is given to kernel. Now the kernel, you see hardware scheduler. So kernel is going to define that for this process how much resource will be allocated, and it will get the task done by the hardware. Why? Because for this all hardware what we have, all the hardware components like RAM, CPU, or any input output device we have, so these all things will be under the control of kernel, because the kernel have the modules, or you can say as a driver software of this all hardware. Okay. So it execute all these things. Now you can see here also it shows one example that this is the kernel. On top of this, these are the commands. So these commands what we have, that is shell. So when we execute it, so shell work is just to execute the instruction or the input given by the user and forward it to kernel, and kernel will get it done. So same also here, you see user gives the commands to the cell, or if user gives the command to the application, application gives to the cell gives to the kernel get it done from the hardware. Again, as a response when it comes, then it comes to cell, then it comes to application, and then user are able to see it. Okay. So I hope this kernel and shell is clear. Any doubt you have? Okay. So this is the difference. So in this, what they have done, when they have developed this Linux operating system, they have used the Linux kernel. So now the code through which these operating systems are developed is still available free of cost on internet. So Linux is an open source operating system, not Unix, Linux. If you take an example, we have Unix, we have Mac OS, we have Windows, we have Linux also. But if we talk about the varieties or distribution of the operating system, then we have only it in Linux. Why not in the Mac? Why not we have in Windows? The reason behind that is for those operating systems, source code through which it is developed, that is not available free of cost and to all. Okay. So whenever any software developer develops any software, they have their own code, and that is the main thing. So they are not going to share it. Okay. So here, when we talk about Linux, Linux is an open source operating system, means the code through which this operating system has been developed is available to all and available on internet. So anyone can download and create the same type of, just modify the cell part, and they can create similar type of operating system. That is the reason we have lot of distributions of Linux available in the market nowadays. So what is open source? So open source means software and it's a source code available to all and free of cost. So the free software foundation specifies the four freedom. One, we can run the program for any purpose. Freedom to study and modify the source code. freedom to redistribute the program and create derivative programs. So we have many Linux operating system free of cost available because of this open source. Now, when we talk about when the Linux was developed, so the development started in 1984 and the final version of Linux came in 1991. So if the question they are going to ask when the Linux was developed, you will have to say 1991. By whom? Linus Benedict Torvalds. Okay. And now we have the kernel and GNU utilities and complete open source Unix-like operating system. And based on his name, now we have Linux. His name was Linus. Now, when we talk about the distribution of Linux, so inside that, the one company which is very famous, that is Red Hat, and Red Hat developed two type of Linux. One, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, another is Fedora Linux. So what is the difference between these two Linux distribution developed by the Red Hat? Enterprise Linux is a stable, thoroughly tested software, a stable version of the OS. Plus, for this Linux, you have the professional support and service. Also, this Linux is used for centralized management, like we have the server options. Lot of services we have, we can configure the server for centralized management of large network. Now, when we talk about the Fedora OS, every new applications they launch in Fedora first. They take the review, users review, and accordingly, they will finally add it into the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. For Fedora Linux, you don't have any professional support. There is a community support, means there will be one page there you will post the question, someone from the same community they will answer there, but no official Red Hat support. And this Fedora they have developed for personal system, or you can say personal use. Okay, so this is the reason if you want this professional support, then only this Red Hat Enterprise Linux is chargeable. And if you want to uh, download the updates, or you want to update the Red Hat Linux or your operating system from the Red Hat website, then you need to take the license or you need to register it. Else it is free of cost. Now, when we talk about the Linux distributions, then we have, I think I've created one introduction to Linux. Maybe it's been deleted. Okay, so we have a lot of Linux distributions available in the market. Out of that, we have some famous, like the topmost. If you ask me which one is the topmost in the market, then the top leader is Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Second one is Ubuntu. Then we have CentOS. We have Kali Linux. Then we have Backtrack. So these are the topmost used Linux available in the market. These two are used by the security engineer for the penetration testing and all. Kali Linux and Backtrack. A lot of tools are available there. Apart from that, if you see, there is a lot of distributions like Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch Linux, Peppermint, SUSE, Scientific, Magia, PyroTOS, Mandriva Linux. If you see total, it is almost 48 to 50 Linux available in the market. Linux, Black Arc. So at least you should know 4 or 5 names, which is very common. Okay. Is it clear? Any questions still here?
No, sir, it's clear.
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Now coming to the Linux principle. What exactly is the principle of Linux? First thing in Linux, if you see everything is a file, including hardware for hard disk, everything. You will see there will be a file. A small single purpose programs are there for everything. Small programs, small commands are there. Ability to chain program together to perform complex tasks means we can combine multiple commands to be executed in a series, like first command output will become input for second command, like that we can chain the program as per the requirement. Avoid captive user interface. So if you have any error, you will get the exact error. Configuration data stored in text means in other operating system you cannot open and read the configuration data. So configuration data is stored as a text file, so you can open. For example, if I want to change the IP address of this machine, so I have to go to the option and that specific program and I can change, but I cannot see from any specific file what exactly is the configuration. But here in Linux, you can open in a notepad, you can see, you can modify the configuration and that will take effect. So configuration data is stored as a text. Now, the most important thing, Linux is a case sensitive operating system. Means if you give a command capital, if the command is in capital, you have to give in capital letters. If it is in a small, you have to type in a small letter. The same command, if you are going to type, suppose it is in a small letter and you have typed in capital letter, it will say command not found. Let us see the same parallelly. Also, not only command, this file and folder names are also case sensitive in Linux. So if you type any file name in capital letter while creating and while opening, if you are going to type in a small letter, it will say file and folder not found. So that is the thing. For example, here, if you see, I have a command calendar. It works, but the same thing if I'm going to type in capital letter, see, command not found. This is called case sensitive behavior. Now coming to the Linux uses, how to log in Linux operating system. Similar, how we log in other operating system. We need to give the username and password. Then what is the difference in compared to other operating system? In other operating system, we have only one console, means we can work only in one console, means we can log in on only one prompt. Okay. In Linux, we have 7 different consoles where we can log in. In Windows or Mac OS or other OS, which is not with the Linux and Unix family, we can log in only on the graphical environment or either in the command line environment. Now we have both the environment available in the market, sorry, in the Linux. Text-based login and graphical login, like desktop environment, or you will get the command prompt. So how it looks, the text-based environment. So this is your text-based. So here you can log in, can get the prompt, and you can work. You see. So this is text-based. And the one which I have used previous, that is called graphical login or desktop environment. Next is every user has a home folder. Like when we talk about the Windows operating system, in Windows also you see we have the users folder. Inside the user folder, you will have a folder with your name, with your username. So if you go inside it, you'll find download, document, favorite, music, videos, and all. Okay. Similarly, in Linux also, we have a user specific home folder. So inside the home folder, as per the username, there will be one folder. Inside that, there will be folder, document, desktop, download, and so on. So what is the use of that home folder? To store personal file or any personal configuration. What is the personal configuration? When I log in, this command should execute. When I log in, this should be the wallpaper. So these type of personalized settings are always stored in the home folder of the user. Now the next, as just now I mentioned that there are seven different consoles where we can log in. So we have virtual consoles and the graphical environment. So six virtual consoles means six command line option we have, and one is the graphical. As it is a old version book, so it is mentioning that Alt Control F1 to F6. For the virtual console means command line console, and for graphical console Alt Control F7. But the things are changed now. So I think if I can change, yeah, I can change it. F2, and it should be 1 to 7. Okay, so I will upload the same. Okay, so this one is the change. Okay, so now like you see, I am in the command line environment. So I want to come to the graphical. Alt Control F2. You see, I came back to my graphical desktop environment. See, okay, I want to go to other terminal. You see, F3, F4. Where I am, I want to check. So we have command TTY. So you can see here slash dev slash TTY4. You see, means I am on terminal 4. Dev means device. Okay. So this is how we can switch graphically. Okay. Next is, if I am in graphical terminal, I want to open, sorry, I am in graphical desktop. I want to open terminal just like a command prompt, how we open here in the Windows, like run CMD, we open the command prompt to execute the command. We are in the graphical environment. Similarly, when I am on the graphical desktop and here I want to open command line, I have to go in the activities. Here we have the option terminal. Okay, so we can have it here, and then we can execute any type of command. Okay. Similar, I need to change here also. So we have, sorry, control set. Earlier it was application, accessories, and terminal. Now it is only application and terminal. Now, if you are working on one terminal, suppose I am working with anything, I want to open one more. For that, Control Shift T. You see, first terminal, second terminal, and so on. We can open multiple terminals. Also, on one terminal, I can log in with one user. On another terminal, I can log in with another user also. Okay. Or we can run one program on one terminal. If it is busy, like sometime in copying, you will see the prompt is busy, or any program you are executing, it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, till then your uh, terminal is busy. So in that case, it is very helpful that we can open a new tab and we can execute the command.
It is Control Shift T or P, sir?
This one, Control Shift T, creates a new
T.
tab.
Okay.
Okay. This one, Control Page Up, Page Down to switch to next or previous tab. Control Shift C if you want to copy the selected text, and V if you want to paste. In that terminal only it will work, not on the command line, complete command line, it will not work. These all keys. This is to scroll the page. Now the next is changing your password. So when you have to change your own password, what is the solution you have? So here you go in the activities, then you go there, then you have the settings, and from there you can see options are there. From here you can go and change. Okay. Connect with the online account, universal access, such. So here in this graphical option, we don't have that option to change the password. So how to change the password? You have to click on this right top corner, click on your account. Here is the account setting. Okay. So when you go to the account setting, so this option is under the about. Here you see we have the option for the password. You can put current password, new password, verify password, and you can change. Okay. So activities, then you have to go to the settings. Okay. And then inside the setting, you have the option about. Okay. Here, details, then users. Okay. So as a user, you cannot do any changes here. So this is the option to change the username and password. So here, whatever is written in the graphical, here we have to go in. I think it's application, activities, activities. Then instead of preference, you have to go in settings. Okay. And inside the settings, you have the details and then users. Okay. Like this. So this is the one option graphically where you can change. Command line if you want to change, then come to the terminal. Here you just you can increase the font size of this graphical terminal. Control Shift plus equal to. Okay. So pass WD, you see current password, then new password, and so on. Okay. To increase, Control Shift plus equal to, like this you can increase, and Control minus to reduce the size. Clear to clear the screen. Now the next is user root.
Tanveer, I
Yeah.
have a small doubt. If it is single user, there is a fast WD, it is working for the same user. If it is multiple user on the same system, auto reset the other users.
But the thing is, as a normal user, you will reset only for yourself, right?
Yes, correct.
But
If
when you
I
are going to log in with the root, then that
mm,
I'm going to show you.
sure,
Okay,
okay,
in the next slide, that is.
okay.
So as we have administrator in Windows, in Linux we have the root. Okay, so root is called here as a super user. Why we call it here as a super user? The reason behind that is, as you know, the Superman. Okay, in the movies and this serials, we see Superman. So we see that Superman, anything does not happen to the Superman. Similar to that, root is here the super user. Whatever rules, whatever policies you apply on the root, that doesn't affect. If root want, he can delete any operating system file. He can crash the operating system. If root want, he can enter in any file and folder, whether permission is there or not. So that's why we say root as a super user. So root has a near complete control over the system. So do not log in as root unless necessary. Okay. So log in as a normal user, unprivileged user. So we have two types of user, normal user and root user. So root can change the password, root can create a user, root can reset the password. Suppose if I forget the password, then where I will have to go? I have to go to the root. I will ask root and root can change the password. For example, here I think I have logged in with the root here. You see, if you want to check who am I, you will see your root. If root want to change the password for Tanveer, pass wd Tanveer. You see, new password. Direct. It will not ask any old password. But if root is going to use pass wd, so it is changing password for itself. So I hope your question is answered now.
Yeah, then I got it.
Now moving to the next, that is SU. SU is what? Switch user. As you know, switch user we use when we don't want to log out from the current user and we want to log in with the new user and to perform some activity. For that purpose, we use SU. So let us see the same. F2. So here I am logged in with Tanveer. Who am I? Tanveer. I want to log in with root here. So I will use SU enter. It will ask the password and this password I have to give for root user. Now if you use who am I? I'm root. Related to this, we have to understand some concept. What concept we have? If root user want to use SU, he will write SU space Tanveer or whatever user he want to log in. No password required. You see the power. For the root, it will not ask any password. If normal user is going to use the same command SU, then there is two conditions. One, if he is going to use suppose SU space Tanveer, so Tanveer password is required. So he has to give Tanveer password. If he is writing only SU, then it has to give a root password. So if you write only SU, means system will understand, okay, you want to switch user, means you want to log in with the root. I hope this concept is clear. Any confusion? Clear for all, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now if you see there is a prompt root at the rate localhost and then you will see tilde then big bracket. And another you will see the dollar prompt. So when normal user is going to log in, he will get dollar prompt. When root is going to log in, he will get has prompt. Okay. So if you see when root logged in, the prompt is changed to hash. When Tanveer logged in, the prompt is dollar. Second thing, here it is username. Then localhost is what? So if you see here, you use the command host name means computer name. So what is the computer name? Localhost. So here the localhost is the computer name. If I change, the name will change. And tilde is what? Tilde basically is a symbol which refers to, this is tilde, refers to home folder location of current user. Okay. So let us understand the same. If you use pwd, present working directory, where I am currently in the folder Tanveer, which folder Tanveer, which is inside the home folder Tanveer. CD enter. Now here you see it is showing tilde. If you use pwd, I am inside the home folder root. If I exit from here and I use pwd, for Tanveer also there is a tilde. So when Tanveer logged in, he is in his own home folder. Understood? For the root, home folder location and name is /root.
Yes, sir.
For
Got it.
Tanveer, it is /home/Tanveer. So tilde refers to the home folder of current user. Now the next is ID. What is this ID command? If you use ID, it will show your user ID, group ID, you are member of which group, and the context and permissions. So my user ID is 1000, group ID is 1000, and I am member of Tanveer group by default. So in Linux, when you create a user, by default, one group with the same name will get created, or we refer it as a private group. And the user is by default member of that group. If I want to check the ID of user root, then you will get this type of information. User ID is 0, group ID is 0, and he is member of root group. Similarly, for any other user I want to see, ID space that username. Now the next is sudo. What is the use of this sudo command? So sudo command is used to give administrative rights to a normal user. Okay. So if you want to give rights to a normal user, you use sudo. Okay. Because we cannot share the root password to the normal user. If we share, we will not be able to track who has done the changes. So for sudo, what we need to do, here we have a command. First, to give the administrative rights, I have to log in with root. Root can only give the administrative rights. Before that, let me show you something. If this user is trying to add any other user, permission denied. Administrative task he cannot perform. So to give administrative rights to user Tanveer, I will log in with root first, because root can only give. Then there is a one command called nano. Nano is a text editor. Sorry, vi sudo. Okay, so we have to use this command vi sudo. Open it. Scroll it down. When you scroll down, then somewhere you will see user machine equal to all, like that. You see, you got the user machine command. So here you can see root can execute all. Root all equal to all. So what you have to do here is you have to press a small I to go in the insert mode to type. Okay, enter, and then write here Tanveer tab. Similarly, all equal to, sorry, all tab all. Escape. After this, press escape button to exit from the insert mode. So I have added. Now I have to press colon a small WQ. First you have to press escape, then colon WQ. Colon WQ means W to save, Q to exit. Now it's done. Now I will again come back to Tanveer. Let us try user add Rohan. He cannot do still. Then how he can do? He has to give reference sudo space, then he will type the command. Before every administrative command, he has to use sudo. Then password. It will ask, what is your password? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, user created. Then the next is I have to set password for this user so that he can log in. Again, I have to use sudo passwd Rohan. So now changing password for user Rohan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now done. So if you try to log in with the user Rohan, you see, we are able to log in. If suppose just by seeing Tanveer, Rohan also want the same user add, you want to add Raju. What is your password? What is the error? Rohan is not in the sudo or file. So that's why you cannot create it. This incident will be reported. I hope you understood the use of sudo. Any questions?
No, sir, it's clear.
So always keep in mind sudo is used to provide administrative rights to normal user. Okay, so we have seen these all three commands. Now in Linux, if you want to complete any command file name, just press the tab. It will complete. Write initial letters, press the tab. Bash. So in Linux, it can store 1,000 last executed commands. So if you want to see, we have command history. See all the commands it is showing from the beginning, what I've used. I want to see only last 10 commands. History space 10. This is just to scroll up and down like this. Now coming to the next, that is editing text file. So if you want to edit any file, you want to create any file in Linux, this vim and gvim is a separate unit that we are going to read. And this is very simple. So let us start with the gedit. Go to the activities, show applications. There is the text editor. This is called gedit, graphical editor. So here you know very well. Hi, welcome to Linux lab. Like that, whatever you want, you write it. This is the open. So you can open your file wherever you have kept. Okay. And this one is to create a new document. This is to save. This is to save as. This is to print. This is save all, find, replace, go to the line, view, preferences and all. So here you can see the tools, spelling check, set language and all. Preferences. In the preferences, if you want to display line number, you want to set the margin, okay, or you want to increase the tab space and all. You want to change the font color. It is system fixed. Uncheck it. What color you want? I want to use this. You see, changing accordingly. Okay. You want to change the font type. Increase the font size. You do it. Okay, it's applied. Want to save it. So by default, it will go to your home folder. So I'm giving the file name joy. Save it. So this is the one that is a gedit. Same thing you want to do from the command line. Then we have editor nano space. If the file exists, give the file name. If you want to create a new, you give the file name in a starting or later also. See, you want to modify it. In this nano editor, it's a command line text editor. You want to save. We have the command here. Control. This symbol is for control. O to save. Write out means save. Control O. You want to exit. Control X. So this is not capital. You can press a small also. Control W. You want to find, replace, cut, uncut, justify, and this all. So basically in the nano, we need just to open, write something, modify something, and control O. to save, okay, or we say as a write out, okay, and then Control X to exit. Okay. So do you want to modify the save? Yes. With the file name joy, enter, exit. Again you open. Control X to exit. Control O, write out, Control X to exit. So this was the nano editor. This editor, VI or Vim, that we will see later as a unit. Okay. There is a complete one unit if you see here. Vim, an advanced text editor. Okay. Now moving to the next, that is running command and getting help. So in
Hello.
this Linux, yeah,
It asked whether it should, save or not, right? Yes or no. So what
yes.
you pressed, what you gave the command.
Why?
Uh, it
It
is a
will be in the
capital Y,
bracket.
just a Y.
You see,
And after that again it asked um,
you see, if I am going to press Control X, this one, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
here is the Y. File name to write. If you want to save with the same, then just hit enter. If you want to change the file name, like save as,
Append for append and all M hyphen A they told, right, what to give for that if we are using append or
ha,
DOS format, Mac format.
ha, for that things. You see. Okay. So mainly in this Linux and Unix, we are not using this nano much more. We mainly use VI editor. Okay. Next here we have date command and calendar command. So what is the use of date and calendar? So for the calendar, it will display current month calendar. If you want to see calendar of August 1947, you have to write like this, month and then year. If you want to see calendar of last 3 months, uh, calendar space -3, you see September, October, November, and if you go -n space 3, you see October, November, December, like that. Similarly, you want to see for entire year calendar 2025, you can see this is the calendar. It starts from 2025 here. You can see. If you want to display the same calendar page wise, then you have to use pipe. Pipe is this type of symbol just above your enter button. Space less. Less will display page wise. So here, and you can scroll with the arrow key up and down, and then to exit Q. Okay. Now the next we have date command. Okay. So what exactly is the date? So date command is used to display current date and time. Clear to clear the screen. Date, you see. But if I see that no, this date and time is not correct, so we need to change it. For that, I have to log in with the root. Date space. First, I have to give month, then date, then hour. In 24-hour format, 1956. Then year 2024 dot second 33. So the format is dot ss. So means month, date, hour, minute, century, year, and second. Now to take help, like suppose I forgot the format and all, I want to take the help. We have the command man space date. I want to know what is the use of date command. Date print set of the system, what is the format, how you can use it, all these things. Whenever you want to exit, just press Q. Another helping command we have info. I want to see what is the use of cal command. Display a calendar. You scroll, you see the uses. Display 3 months spanning the date. -n month's number. Span, Monday, starting calendar. Whatever you want, accordingly you can modify. And here you see, to exit, Q. Again, I want to know the use of su command. So su space hyphen hyphen help. Another helping command we have help. You see, change the effective user ID and group ID to that of user. Okay. Or you want to see the same cal space hyphen hyphen help. Display a calendar or some part of it without any argument. Display the current month. Then what are the options we have? Okay. So we have 3 helping commands available to take help. What is not used nowadays? Okay, so I think if I can remove this page, sorry. This one is the same, na? What is the document? Okay. Save it. Close it. Okay. So now you see what I've deleted. Something else. Okay. State command. What is command? Help command. Then man, and then we have the info. Okay. So these are the helping commands. So till now, how much we have covered? Next. So we have completed getting started with Linux. What is Linux OS? Day 2, switching between terminal, accessing the command line, getting help. Okay. Only it remains is run level and its effect that we will see tomorrow. Okay. So today we have completed introduction to Linux, installation, then accessing command and getting help, sudo nano gedit, yes. So this much we have completed. Next class we will cover run level and file system in Linux. Okay, so any questions if you have? So practice these all things what we have discussed and seen today, and I'll upload the same updated PDF once again. Okay, so Linux, this one. So any questions if you have? Okay, fine then. So we are going to wind up the session for today. So practice this all. See you tomorrow at the same time.